What up, B Squad? It's me, JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Sistas, Season 7, Episode 5, you guys. This episode is titled Hanging in the Balance, you guys. Now, before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and style take me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss what is this, Sistas, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, we open up and we pick up literally where the episode left off. You guys remember that we ended with Zach going down to Karen's salon and, asking Karen for a DNA test. Do I think that that was a smart thing for him to do? Absolutely the fuck not, right? I don't think that that was smart. So Karen was like, and I really, God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I literally cannot believe that I'm about to say the words that I'm about to utter. When it comes to Karen, I actually feel bad for Karen. Like, I really felt bad for Karen because, like she said, you're calling me a slut, and I'm like, yeah, in a nutshell, he's saying that you slept with more than him and Aaron. But okay, cool. Again, I'm not cool with that. I don't like that, right? Karen's thing to Zach is that we already confirmed that Aaron's not the father, so that just leaves you. And I was like, yeah, technically, but I get Zach's point of view. You did a test on Aaron. It proves Aaron is not my child. But then going back to what I said a few minutes ago, this in a nutshell is calling Karen a hoe because you're saying, okay, yeah, you ruled out Aaron, but you didn't rule me out. And it's implied like, well, who the fuck else you saying I slept with, Zach? I slept with you and I slept with Aaron. And we know that. Karen had sex with Zach in that broom closet and she was intimate with Aaron because they were dating each other, right? So what other man could there be? So Karen told him she ain't doing that, and she doesn't want him in the child's life. And I was like, at this particular moment, I cannot be upset with Karen. I cannot be mad at Karen. I am not mad at Karen for once. Like, I'm literally not mad at Karen. So she feels like Fatima's name is written all over this, and I was like, you'd be correct. Fatima's name is on this. Fatima's name is on this. And so Ms. Lisa came out there and got, actually, not Ms. Lisa. Trey came over and tried to, break up the situation. I was like, sir, he done already got into it with the last man that she was involved with. Just kind of skedaddle and back away, sir. I'm gonna need you to kindly do that. That's all I need for you to do, Trey, is back up and mind your business. You are not with Karen. Karen doesn't need your protection or your saving at all. That's all I gotta say. Now we move over to Maurice. Maurice is down at the bar and he is meeting some guy there. Here's my thing with Maurice. Maurice, you guys know I like Maurice when he's funny, right? But then there are times that Maurice does get on my nerves, and this is in fact one of those times where Maurice got on my nerves. And the reason why I say Maurice got on my nerves is because he's like I said, he's meeting some guy at the bar, and when he met the guy at the bar, then Maurice wanted to give the guy a hard time, and it's like, Maurice, if you want to give this man such a hard time, what was the purpose in you meeting him? Like, I don't like that. It gets on my nerves. So the guy, tells Maurice he's new to Atlanta. I think he said he's been there for about 8 months or so. He was previously in a relationship, but his partner passed away from cancer. He was there to, take care of his partner. And I was like, oh, okay. A good guy. I think Maurice can benefit from it. I think Maurice needs somebody good in his life. Calvin's gone. And who else he got? I mean, he got Sabrina in her tacky outfits, but hey, neither here nor there. We'll pause here and we'll move forward. Now, back over to the salon, Ms. Lisa, this is where Ms. Lisa came out, right? And Ms. Lisa got Zach and said, basically like, hey, I thought I told you not to come here. And so Ms. Lisa and Zach walked outside, and Trey went and got Karen some water. And so Pam says, girl, I feel like you should let Zach be in the baby's life. And Karen didn't like hearing that. So Karen, when Ms. Lisa came back in, Karen asked her, so when did you talk to Zach? And she was like, before the grand opening. And I told him that I didn't think that this was, a good place for him to be. She said, well, obviously he didn't listen because he's back here now. And I was like, okay, I agree with you, Karen. I agree with you when you're right, Karen. And so then, in a weird change of events, Danny showed up. Danny came there to give a toast to Karen, and Danny was lit. I was like, where the fuck did Danny come from? I was so confused about where Danny came from because Danny came from the back, not the front. So I was like, so, huh? Neither here nor there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Now we move over to Zach and Fatima. So Zach is telling Fatima like, yo, I think it's the next day or it's the same night. I think it might be the same day. What I will say, I will give the writers props for one thing. I'll give them props for a lot of things. The storylines are moving. I definitely give them props for that. They are moving. They are moving a little bit fast. They're definitely moving fast. I'll give them that they move in the storyline, and I will also give them this. We are not staying on the same day. We are literally changing these days. Like these days go by fast with this show, and I'm kind of here for it because one day Karen got on one. I mean, my God, thank you for the writers because we are not standing on the same day and they not standing in the same outfit all day, right? So we see Zach. He's telling, like I said, he's telling Fatima about going to the salon, how things didn't go well with Karen, how that guy Trey came up. And once again, I'm going to repeat it one more time. It's going to probably sound like a broken record. But for me, I'm just not a fan of this whole situation with Karen. Like, and you guys know how I feel about Karen. You guys know I can't stand Karen. You guys know Karen is my least of the favorite of the sisters. You guys know that without a doubt, that Karen is my least favorite of the sisters, right? But I have to defend Karen. I do not like this whole notion of, oh, well, Karen got around and Karen was, getting with the men in college. So, maybe Karen was with another man. I don't like that. I do not like that. I think it is janky. I think it is fucked up, right? I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this, right? So Fatima says that with Karen, she ain't getting a dime until Karen proves that that baby is his. And she's also looked into therapy for, Michael, right? Because she feels like Michael's going to need therapy after this whole ordeal. And I absolutely agree with Fatima on that. Now, after that, we see Andy. So Andy is talking to Jordan, and Jordan is asking her how she's doing, and she says she's good, right? And he asked her like, okay, so will you go to dinner with me? She said, okay, yeah, I'll go to dinner with you. And so Fatima comes in, and Fatima's telling Andy like, I'm so happy with the way that he treats you, he likes you, and I think you deserve it. And Andy was like, do you think I deserve it? She was like, yeah, you deserve it. I was like, you do deserve it, Andy. Now, there are a lot of things we can say about Andy, right? Absolutely. But Andy does deserve happiness, even with the shit with Gary, right? Now, Andy is talking to Fatima because she knows about what happened at the salon opening with Zach, right? And, Fatima's like, how do you know? And she was like, Danny told me. Now, the other thing that I don't like and actually in this particular moment, it wasn't bad because Andy didn't really have a conversation with Fatima about Karen, but I don't like the fact that the girls do have conversations with Fatima about Karen. That's your best friend. It's okay for y'all to be cool with Fatima, but don't throw your friend that you've had since college to the side for her. Be cool with Fatima, right? Because honestly, Karen's issue with Fatima is that Fatima is with Zach and she's not with Zach anymore. That's ultimately Karen's issue with Fatima. Nothing less, nothing more, right? Now, they're talking about the court case, and Andy feels like it can go good, but she doesn't want anything like she don't want Zach fighting Trey or anything like that with this case, with this hearing looming. So Fatima asked, can someone talk to, Karen? And Andy was like, absolutely not me. Like I'm not getting involved in that, right? And so Fatima then told Andy that she thinks Hayden is up to something because she saw him coming out of Jones's office with some files. And Andy said, okay, so after they stopped, they were talking with each other, they ended their conversation. And so Andy did see Hayden. I don't know if that was a partner that Hayden was talking to, but we'll probably find out soon enough what that was. Now we'll pause here and we'll move forward, you guys. Next up, you guys, we have Gary, right? Gary, he's in his office and he's losing his shit. So Gary tells his guy Hudson to come in there, and he's trying to get a story to leak. And Hudson says, he's working on it, but Gary wants it leaked like right now. And I was like, oh, I think I know what Gary's trying to do, but I don't know how it's gonna work because I'm putting two and two together what Gary's doing. So we all know that Gary is, his FBI case, right? I feel like what Gary's gonna try to do is put all of this onto Jordan somehow, and I think that's the reason why he took the pictures of Penelope's all her information, because he wants to link Penelope and Jordan to this, right? I think. I could be way off. But I think that's where we're going. Now we see Danny, she's in therapy, right? So she's telling her therapist about Preston. Then she told her therapist about the situation with Jonah. That woman looked like she saw a ghost when Danny was talking about the fact that she ran Jonah over, but unfortunately he survived, right? And then we find out a little bit more about Danny's relationship in college. So she was with the star football player, and the man put her down, talk about her weight and all this kind of stuff. And he was mentally and physically abusive to Danny. And Danny didn't realize that she had packed that so far back. And I think it took Danny, for a loop. Then we move over to Sabrina's old tacky ass. Oh, God. When it comes down to Sabrina, I just really want Sabrina to break up with Rich. That's ultimately what is going. So Rich told her that he got greenlit for another restaurant, right? Another location. And so Sabrina told him that she's gonna freeze her eggs. His response to her, I was like, oh, Sabrina, you got to be the dumbest person on the face of the fucking earth. Because when Sabrina told him she was gonna freeze her eggs, what did this man say to her? Oh, that's good for you, because if we don't work out, then you have the option to have a baby. I was like, if we don't work, oh, no. We ain't gonna work out, because if you can utter your lips to say, if we don't work out, then you can go and have a baby on your own. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We're definitely not gonna work out, because that's what you say to your girlfriend that's what you utter to your girlfriend. If we don't work out, then you can have a baby. Sabrina, do not settle with this man. He does not, like, you guys are not on the same page. He don't want kids. He don't want marriage. Y'all not evenly yoked. Don't diminish yourself. Don't give up the things that you know will make you happy in life for anybody, be it your husband, not your husband, but don't give up anything. Like, don't settle. If you want to be a mother and have a family, and that's what you know you want, you have that family. Don't let somebody tell you, no, don't be in a relationship. Don't be like, oh, that's a good man, Savannah, but Savannah, he don't want a kid. Savannah, he don't want marriage. That ain't a good man, Savannah. He ain't a good man for you. Like, no. Pausing here and moving forward, you guys. All right, you guys, so we on the next day. So Miss Lisa went to go check on Karen, right? And, she's asking Karen, how is she? Karen says she's tired. And so her mama gave her some money, and she asked her about the salon. Karen's like, well, the salon is picking up, and, if I'm getting more clients. And her mama said, okay, so what happens if the salon isn't a success? Karen doesn't have anything planned. She said, well, Karen, maybe you should go and talk to Zach and let him be in this child's life and give him what he's asking for. Give him the DNA test. And again, I will say it one more time. I do think I get it. I do get it from I get it from Zach's point of view, and I get it from Zach and Fatima's point of view, right? Because here's the thing, and hear me out, you guys. I know what I said earlier. I'm not contradicting myself. I don't want nobody to be like, well, you just said earlier that da 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 da. I know what I said. I do think it's a slap in the face to insinuate that she could could have been potentially sleeping with a third man. I absolutely do think that that's, I'm saying this because from what we saw of Karen, we never saw her with a third man. So I'm going from that standpoint. But if I put myself in Zach's shoes, it makes sense why he's asking for a DNA test, right? Because if Karen had to think, is it Zach's child or is it Aaron's child, and the only thing she did was she ruled out Aaron. Technically, Zach doesn't know if she was with any other men, so he's not wrong. I think his approach was wrong, right? I think his approach was wrong because Zach could have just said to Karen, like, yo, Karen, like, I know that you ruled out Aaron, right? And that's fine. But you never took my DNA. And I would like you to match my DNA to show that this is my child, right? I mean, let's be real. If she put him on child support, then shit, he can request. If you put him on child support, he can request to have a DNA test done. So it is what it is, right? So like I said, I get it from. It's a cat. This one is literally like a catch-22. Like, I can see how Karen feels upset, but I can also see how Zach feels, right? Because again, she was with Zach at the same time she was with Aaron. So in Zach's mind and Fatima's mind, we don't know if you were with another man in between those two. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not upset 100%, but I definitely get it. I do think, like I said, one more time, the approach was wrong. The approach was absolutely wrong. And after that, what happened? So we see Trey. Karen apologized to Trey and he asked her to go to lunch. Karen, ma'am, you move very fast. Now, wait a minute. No, she doesn't. I was about to say, you do move a little fast, Karen. Cause, no, sis, you do move a little fast. Cause you look like you about 3 or 4 months pregnant. And the last time we saw you, you was 2 months pregnant, a month pregnant, right? When you broke up with Aaron. So you ain't been without a man for that long. Just saying. I ain't calling you a hoe. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Now, after that, so she agreed to go to lunch, like I said, with him. Danny and Sabrina, they talked about therapy and how Danny didn't really realize that she had packed that situation with her ex behind her. So Tony came into the office and he asked Danny, did she want to go get something to eat? She told him she wasn't hungry, right? Then we move over back to Fatima and Andy. So Fatima is telling Andy that she saw her man on the television, and so there's a scandal with Jordan's opponent that he spoke up against because the opponent was sleeping with his secretary, and Andy was like, "Well, don't most politicians do it?" She's like, "They do," but she said the thing with this one was, this girl was an intern of his when she was 16, and they've had an affair with each other for years, so it doesn't look good, right? So Fatima's just telling her, like, do you think that there's anything that could, basically come up in, because, when they find dirt on one, they go looking for dirt on pretty much everybody. So she was like, do you think that there's anything that could come up about Jordan? And Andy was like, I don't think so. Nothing can come up about him but your slimy ass ex-boyfriend, Gary. Oh, God, you guys know how I feel about Gary. Gary gets on my nerves. Can't stand him. So next up, you guys, we see Paige. Girl, Paige can go too. I don't know where they've dug this heifer up from, but they can throw her right back into whatever abyss they found her in. So Miss Page is minded, she's live from another bitch's business, aka Sabrina's, right? She's live from another bitch's business. Now, what happened is one of Sabrina's clients called. He had some questions about his account, and so Miss Page went and looked into his account, and she was like, "Well, there's some money. There's some the dividends don't add up." And Sabrina was like, "If you would look right here, that's where they are." I was like, "That's how you check. That's how you check and clear a bitch." And she's like, "Oh, you're right. Exactly. Mind your motherfucking business, lady." Paige again. Paige gotta go. Paige gotta go. Paige gots to go. We'll pause here and wrap up the episode, you guys. Hayden and Gary, you guys, these two really get on my nerves. Instead of losing Preston and Calvin, I would prefer to lose these two. I liked Calvin, although I got sick of him and Sabrina going back and forth, and I got sick of the back and forth with Preston and Danny. But I actually would have preferred them over Gary and Hayden, two trash ass men. So Hayden called Gary up, and Gary's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "I was just calling to check on you." Shut up. So he was telling him, he was telling Gary about the conversation that he heard with Andy and Fatima about Jordan, right? And basically, Gary is like, he got that figured out. He's creating some dirt on him, right? And then Gary is an old crackhead, an old cokehead too, because he got a little package that white powdery substance. I was like, you motherfucker. Then we see Danny, and she went to go talk to Tony, right? She let Tony know about the things that came up in therapy. She told him that she doesn't really want to talk about it because he asked could he come over. She said, I don't really want to talk about it. But then she said the therapist told her that what she typically does is she pushes people away. So she doesn't want to push him away, but so she told him, you can come over. Girl, that might be a big old mistake because you finna find out in next week's episode that he got kids. Ladies, I got a question for you, ladies. Like, what would y'all do in these situations where y'all be in relationships with men and don't know that, like, oh God. So do y'all, this is a question because for the ladies, right? Strictly the ladies. Like, if you go on a date with a man, you don't ask if he has. Well, I mean, I guess they could lie. My God, they could lie. Jesus, I wouldn't. I don't. I just. How? That's the next question. That's the better question. How would you feel in the comment section? Let it be known. How would you feel if you were dating a man for 3 months or even a year, and you didn't know that he had kids, and then somehow it comes up that he has kids? How would you feel? Would you just completely end the relationship right then and there, or would you understand? I mean, there's technically, I hope y'all say it's cut it off, right? Because there's no understanding at that point. After that, we see Zach and Fatima. Zach is worried about this case, with Michael, and Fatima's just telling him like, "Yo, Zach, don't worry about that." Andy said not to worry, and then he says, he just wants to have all of his kids in his life. She said, "Well, at least one of them is yours. The other one," he was like, "Too soon, Fatima." And so after that, we wrap the episode up. We see Andy. So Andy and Jordan, they're at dinner. He's talking about the scandal, and he's letting Andy know, like, he doesn't have anything that she needs to worry about, right? I was like, that you know of. Because Gary is finna make you out to be a bad guy. And then we see Gary's old hating ass. He is outside in his car, getting high, and got a gun. I was like, what the fuck? Watching Andy and Jordan. Oh, I forgot to mention about Penelope, you guys. I forgot to mention Penelope. She was in this episode. She went to go take Gary some lunch, right? And so she went through one of his drawers. She found a picture of, I believe that was Andy, and she found a warrant. So he came in asking her, what the hell is she doing? And she said, I'm here to give you lunch. He asked her, why are you at my desk? She said, well, would you believe it? They didn't give me any silverware. So I was looking at your desk to see if there's some in there. You guys, I believe that she's the one that got the FBI involved with Gary. Because when she left out, he told whatever that boy's name is. I said his name earlier in the review. Whatever the white boy's name is, he told the guy to throw this shit away. That's the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comment section below. You guys subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.